Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be talking about Muerta. It's been a while since I've made a Muerta video. I made one the first day of the patch, kind of talking about the build that I thought was powerful. And I talked about a Midas build. It was a Midas and a Maelstrom, definitely fine, not bad, and still semi-viable. However, the build we're going to be looking at here today is a build by Dreamacell, one of the best players in the world. And he goes Maelstrom, well, there's a bunch of small items. Wand, Treads, Raindrops, Falcon Blade. Then he goes Maelstrom. But then my favorite part of this build is the Mask of Madness. So we're going to be talking about Mask of Madness Muerta in today's video. The amount of damage that you output with the item build you are about to see is ridiculous. And the reason why I think it's good and makes a lot of sense is because Mask of Madness on Muerta, it obviously is really good with Gunslinger. I don't think I have to explain why. It's just the best, Mask of Madness is some of the highest DPS in the game. Of course, it works well with Gunslinger. Your ulti gives flat damage. That is good with attack speed. That is, of course, good with Mask of Madness. And then on top of that, I don't really think you care if you drop your armor, because you click your ulti, you drop your armor, and you can't even get right-clicked anyway. So the armor reduction from Mask of Madness is not a problem. And the silence is also not really a problem. You drop your W, you drop your Q, you click your ult, and you click Mask of Madness, and there is literally no downside to being silenced unless you have 2 Deadshot charges, which you don't even necessarily take, right? So this build just makes so much damn sense to me that I had to make a video on it, and I have to show you guys the power. He does throw this game at some point. They do win, but there's a pretty funny Aegis throw. But either way, he giga carries this game, and let's get into it.
Also, I want to tell you guys that if you've been struggling with solo queue and you're looking to get to the next rank, I'm going to be able to help you. Like, literally, with the gameleap website, I'm going to give you guys guides that are going to make it unbelievably clear on what you need to do. So if you've been stuck in the solo queue grind, you don't know what to do, and you want to become absolutely broken, but like actually you want to become much better at Dota, and you want to take it more seriously, the gameleap website is going to help you do that. So click the link down below. I'm going to help you get to the next rank, and I'll see you there.
In terms of starting items, I like his build. I like the overall just stats. Definitely good on a ranged hero that can right-click his opponents and overall chip them down. I think the stick is good because the hero has some sustain issues, like you're pretty slow, you don't tank creeps well, so the stick is very nice overall. From there, in terms of the laning stage, you use Deadshot to secure the range creep. I don't want to focus too much on the laning stage because honestly, you can just kind of watch any laning stage guide and it's going to apply to Muerta. You use your nuke to secure the range creep, you can fear people back into you. That is kind of the upside that I see. The only thing that I will say is that I think the calling is a little bit hard to use, and we'll talk about that. So a semi-good example of why I think the calling is undervalued is I even just coached my boy Stevo on Muerta, and I kind of talked to him, even though I don't play this hero, I talked to him about how I feel that the calling level 2 is better than Gunslinger. And the reason why is 20% chance on proccing is just not that high. And when you're proccing it and you're off the creep wave, and when you're proccing it and you're not trying to kill the opponent, it's just bad because you're proccing it when you're last hitting, and that just pushes the creep wave, which often is not a good thing this early on into the lane. And so it's kind of like taking Inner Beast on Beastmaster. It's just going to push the creep wave no matter what, and that's not a good thing. So you kind of have to be really careful about just casual points in Gunslinger. I just don't think it's that good compared to the W. And you might say, oh, but the W, it's a 30-second cooldown and it's so mana intensive. And you're right. However, that's why you buy the stick. It helps a ton with mana. Red stick is one of the best mana items in the game, obviously. And then on top of that, you have a huge mana pool at 450 with some stat items. I mean, such a big mana pool. And it's a 30-second cooldown. You're not using that frequently, right? And even then, right? Even if it was a lower cooldown, you just wouldn't use it that frequently. But yeah, in this example here, you're going to see a pretty decent usage of it. They get stunned. He drops a silence. It's just going to slow the Magnus. I think he should have went for a fear here. I think his best next course of action was to actually, go for a fear. Maybe he's afraid Magnus. Oh no, he doesn't have skewer. So yeah, he honestly could have potentially killed this guy if he feared him back into it, because 30% slow is just ridiculous. No, he would have died. Mag would have died. 100%. If he went for the fear, Mag would have died. So right then and there, the 30% slow allows you to walk up and Deadshot them back into you. Without the 30% slow, it's very hard to line up a Deadshot in a way that pushes them directly back into you. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Deadshot pushes them in whichever direction the bullet comes from. So if you shoot it directly at them, it'll push them away. If you shoot it from behind them back into you, it will push them into you, and that's really broken with the calling. From there, he's going to upgrade his magic wand, pick up a Blades of Attack to last a little bit better, and eventually you'll need kind of Raindrops, Clarity, and Sage's Mask to actually sustain your mana pool. And that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to pick up a Clarity, he's going to pick up a Falcon Blade, and that's going to help him out with his mana pool problems. Alright, in this upcoming clip here, we're just going to see a good example of how to secure kills. It's very important that you just drop the W and then look for the Deadshot. It's on cooldown here, but keep in mind, any sort of support follow-up to the calling is going to result in a kill in a lot of scenarios. I just don't think players understand how good this W is. It's a 30% slow and a massive AoE, and if they walk out of it, it's almost a guarantee to get silenced. Like, you can't... I personally have not been able to dodge these things. I don't know if you can. Maybe if you have, like, certain movement speed items, like phase boots, you can not get hit, but, like, it's really hard, and then you get feared back into it anyway. Like, in this clip here, we're just gonna see a great understanding of how much damage you actually do. He's pinging for his Chaos Knight to come over, which is a good sign of, like, a really high Mamar and talented player. Just, like, calling for backup when they think they have kill potential. It is just like really important, but look at this. Really nice usage of the dead shot into the ulti, gets one auto attack off, doesn't have to sound. Okay, he should have silenced there. I mean, I don't know why you would allow yourself to get stunned. That was definitely a mistake. He should have put down the silence a little bit earlier. But yeah, drops it down and just kills him. Now, because of the fact that he won his lane, he can stay in his lane. This is definitely a hero where you can kind of just AFK jungle, but you certainly don't want to have to. Best case scenario, you can spam your Q, push out the creep wave with it, harass the opponent. For instance, he's been harassing the Magnus with it. He gets a really nice, I mean, this is so great, right? Look at the execution there. Pushes him back off the creep wave and then just takes him out, right? The calling didn't even end up silencing there. Just a little bit of movement speed slow, following up with the ulti, which does way too much damage, and he takes him down. So once you have Javelin, jungling becomes much faster. Especially on Maelstrom, then it becomes like infinitely fast. I mean, Maelstrom timing on Muerta with the Gunslinger is just insane. Like, it's actually insane. Also, I'd like to say that he kind of has best case scenario on neutral item. I think Pigpole or Possessed Mask are the best. Possessed Mask is kind of nice because the hero has a little bit of sustain issues in the jungle, so that's definitely helpful. Also, at level 10, he took the 8 strength, which it makes sense. Your hero's pretty squishy. But from here on out, once you have the Maelstrom, what you should be looking to do is get cheeky side lane pickoffs because your hero is really stupid and does way too much damage early game, and just farm the triangle. Like, I would like to show 60 seconds ago that he actually went for an anti-mage kill. I mean, the execution here was like completely horrendous. Like, that dead shot wasn't even close. And then they try to use the calling into Ravage, which they try, and then Ravage misses. And then the Q pushes him away. But still, I love the thought process there. As goofy as that looked, you know, it doesn't matter, right? A lot of players, I know this for a fact, just don't go for these plays, and it causes them to just be not that useful and not open up the map and threaten the enemy carry and get solo kills. Like, the average player is just like, yep, it's my farming time. I guess I'll go AFK in the jungle for 20 minutes. If, you know, you're at that point where you know to jungle. But yeah, at this point with the Maelstrom and the Gunslinger, you take the neutral camps really, really quickly, so he farms up the Ancients. Top wave is completely pushed out, so he walks mid, looks for actually a bit of a kill, doesn't find it, so he'll just clear the mid wave. After that, kind of making his way back to the top jungle, clear up some of those camps. Really nice efficiency. Farming forward here on the minute mark, he's going to clear up all the camps, all the waves, and then can eventually get back to the Ancients if he wants. And now the Mask of Madness timing is online, and things get really, really crazy here. Like, once you hit this timing, I mean, it gets pretty wild. And if you don't believe me, well, let's look at this clip here. You're about to look at a Leshrac die to Muerta. Now, keep in mind, he is very farmed, and this is a pretty early level 12 timing, so this doesn't necessarily always work, but this is a very tanky Leshrac. 1700 HP. 1700. This guy is super tanky, and yet he's going to get solo killed by the Muerta. So here's the execution. He's going to walk up, right? He actually pops his ulti a bit early. You should try, I mean, it has a transformation time, so it's kind of good to do this, but it's just such a short duration, 7 seconds at level 12, where it kind of feels bad to use any time not clicking someone. But either way, goes in, leads with the calling. Calling's going to set up for the dead shot. Fears him back into the calling, hitting another silence. That's huge. Then, with the Mask of Madness, he's shredding this Leshrac, right? I mean, this isn't one-time speed. The guy is just getting demolished. Just demolished. Because the Gunslinger with the ulti damage with Mask of Madness is just way too much damage. And he kills, solo kills, for that matter, a 1700 HP Leshrac. That's what I'm talking about being active. Like, it's so funny. I just did a coaching session, and it's like, one of my main critiques was he just didn't look for these plays. And you could see why I would feel that way, right? You look at this game, and it's just like, I mean, why would you not, right? I mean, it's hard to know because your hero dies really easily, but you got to take the risk. You got to use your vision advantage, and you got to use the pushing creep waves, right, when people are going to deep push, as an opportunity to get these kills and change the game. However, I will like to say that this hero does die really easily, right? So I like that play on the Lesh because he kind of knew he was alone. This play is pretty psychotic, right? He goes on the mag, they don't get the kill, and he stays around anyway, and his whole team clumps up. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Don't do that. Alright, now we're going to see one of the most ridiculous clips of the entire game. He's got his Gleipnir, he's got his BKB. BKB is unfortunately on cooldown, but he's hit level 18, and he's ready to go. Keep in mind, he also did take Deadshot cast range of 15. It's a tough choice. 35 damage is really nice, but the Deadshot cast range, it does allow you to easily fear people into you, and that's obviously very valuable, right? It's very good for setting up double silences with the calling, and yeah, as I said, bringing them into you. Either way, he's using the Mask of Madness to lifesteal. Part of the reason I like the Mask of Madness, the hero has no built-in sustain, so it's certainly nice to have that lifesteal, but fight breaks out, and he's going to play the outside. I like how he's cautious, very cautious. Like, if he wasn't cautious, he would have gotten skewered there, and this fight would have been horrible. He would have died, 100%. Instead, he's able to kite the outside, go in with the calling, which is a BS ability. It's definitely BS. Drops the ulti, drops the Mask of Madness, and now can drop the Gleipnir, which is why I like the Gleipnir. Keeps them in place. You don't need attack speed because you have Mask of Madness. And look at this damage. Oh my... You see that with the Gunslinger? That is ridiculous. He just... Even this Leshrac, what is this? Oh my... It's actually wild, dude. It's actually wild. And now at level 20, he actually did opt for the Gunslinger chance. So now you have a 70% chance to proc your E, which is wild, because it's just double damage, right? I mean, just wild stuff. Now he ends up queuing up a Linken's next, which I'm not gonna lie, I really don't like it. I think you just buy Hurricane Pike in this case. I guess it's good against Abyssal Blade at some point. I think that's why he's buying it. It's the anti-Abyssal Blade timing. It's like decent against Malefice, but it's like really not good against Magnus, Lesh, or ET. So I'm kind of a hater of his build. I think the Pike is just best case in most games because you don't need damage at all. Like, you don't need a damage item. Yes, you can go Daedalus, I guess, some games, but you generally don't need it. The Pike just allows you to get more value out of your ult so you don't get kited, or you can Pike in at them. You can Pike people away and hit them 5 times with your ult, which is basically going to guarantee kill them in a lot of cases. So there's that. And on top of that, it just makes you tanky and be able to hit far away. Like, you want to be able to stay in position with this hero, so the Dragonlance attack range just prevents you from getting caught in like some accidental 2-man RP or 3-man Ravage. You know what I mean? Like, being able to stay far and away from your teammates is very key on this hero. Alright, and that's going to be about the end of the video. I didn't even show off that much how good this hero is at farming with Mask of Madness because, I don't know, I just felt it was generally boring, but keep that in mind, guys. Like, click it off cooldown when you're jungling, and you're going to realize how damn good Mask of Madness Maelstrom is. The only problem with going these 2 items is you're very squishy and you don't have like BKB to teamfight or a Dragonlance to teamfight. So if you're going these items, you can go for pickoffs. You're still very good at going for pickoffs, or you flash farm the jungle. You want to wait towards that later timing to join teamfights with this item build. So please do not go this build and then just take teamfights off cooldown with a Maelstrom and Mask of Madness. It will not work, it will not feel good, and you will be like, Speed, you're stupid. When in reality, you're stupid. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the gameleap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.